Hello there. We were cutting a tree down here a while back. In fact, this tree was 2 years old, but last summer we were cutting on it, and we cut it all down and had just a stump left. And my neighbor was going to borrow a stump grinder. And he says, "Well, I'll cut on your stump if you want me to." And I thought, "Well, sure, that sounds good." So my wife and I, the stump was probably a couple foot up in the air, and this is like 5 foot in diameter. So we was cutting on it, cut around the base of it first to cut off another hunk of the whole stump, and we got that cut off. Had to whittle that. I had to get it lower, so then I was cutting. I cut up and down vertical lines, and I cut some horizontal ones, make like pie pieces out of it, and we were wrestling with this and couldn't. We got it all down to, I think we had one or two left, and we was a fighting with them trying to get them. It looked like it should come loose, but it wasn't coming loose. So we was pulling on it, tugging on it, and I'd cut some more, and it just wasn't. There was something holding in there, but we couldn't find it. And I'd taken hold of the thing, and I remember, I don't just remember 100% sure, we was wrestling with it, and I took a hold of that thing, and I was pulling and wiggling and pulling, and all of a sudden I just got a stab in my shoulder, my right shoulder. I thought, oh man, what was that? And we kind of piddled there a little bit, and I worked, and I just kind of was carefuler, and pretty soon it did it again, and we ended up getting it cut off. We finally found, I don't remember what we did, got some wedges in there or whatever. But then that bothered me, so then we took and after we had got things all cut off and stuff, I think we decided then, it's been a few months ago, we decided then that, hey, this is good enough, let's just quit here for now, because it was, we cut that whole thing off, and it was a big stump. And so we just loaded up our stuff, and we quit for that day. And I think we went out the next day and loaded up the pieces and took them over and piled them. And it was a couple days later, and I noticed my arm, but in my bicep area here, I noticed was getting real dark colored, and that thing got maybe not quite as black and dark as this outfit I've got on, but it got dark on both sides, and it never really hurt that bad. And so I went to the doctor, and she says, "You've torn your bicep." And I thought, oh great. So, and there wasn't nothing they do for biceps. If I was a younger person, they would fix it, because when that tears and drops down, mine tore up here at the top. He said a lot of times they'll tear at the bottom. Mine tore at the top, fell down. Thus far, it makes what they call a Popeye muscle, because it drops down and it just lays there. It don't do nothing but just lays there, and I've always got a nice little muscle there. And so I dealt with that. So they wanted me to get, I ended up getting, they sent me up to get x-rays and stuff, and that's what confirmed that it was the bicep. So we went and was talking to the doctor, and he says, "Well, see this mark here?" He says, "That has me concerned." He says, "There's something more than your bicep." He says, "Your rotator cuff up there has a partial tear on it." I'm thinking, oh. Well, see, when they took that first picture, what was that called? Angiogram, maybe? When they took the first one, they saw the bicep, and it was torn off. You could see that. And then the second one up there, you could see, he said, it looks like it's got like it ended up being like an inch tear is what it was. But they had me go in for another x-ray, and then they had me turn sideways so they could shoot right on that. And yeah, it was torn like an inch. So we were going to set up a time to have it done, and we wanted to wait till after summer was over so we could get rid of, get everything done we wanted to get done. And I just had to be careful with it, not raise my arm above my head and stuff. And so we went through the summer, and I was careful. There was times, I'd feel a little bit of pressure if I was running like a ratchet wrench or a socket wrench, and it started getting tight, the nut, I could feel it pull on it a little bit. And so throughout the summer, there was different things we'd done and this and that. And my first schedule they had me set for was like 3 days ready to get it done. And they says, "Oh, we've got a glitch." Years ago, I had where they go in your blood vein to your heart to look at it. Well, when they did that, my heart did a spasm, kind of did a spasm. So I've been taking medications for that. Well, that's also for high blood pressure, but I don't have high blood pressure. Well, they saw that and it concerned them. So they wanted me to go back to this. So they canceled my appointment. That was canceled. That was for September 17th, I think. And so they canceled it. It's like, great. Here we start over again. So they wanted me to go see this doctor that had did this plastic, whatever it is you goes up your veins with. But, excuse me. But we went down, made an appointment to see this guy. And he says, what are you here for? And so we tell him, and which he knew, he had the paperwork already. And we told him what was going on. He says, "You're clear to have that done." I thought, okay, well, good. Got that out of the way. So we comes back home, calls the doctor. Yep, cleared to have it done. So it was a couple days, I think. They said, "Well, we'll get back with you and, get an appointment set. When do you want to do it?" Well, when can you get me in? So the earliest was October 25th. And we said, unless you have a cancellation. Because by then it was like, okay. So, but there was no cancellations. We went clear up to yesterday was October 25th. And we went to the doctor's clinic and had that. It was Mason City, Iowa, where we had to go for that. We live in central Iowa. And simply because with our doctor, that's who she's affiliated. And then it goes up to that one. So we run up there and was up there, and we got in. When we got there, the nurse says, "Well, you're early." And she says, "That's good because Doc got done early." So, okay. So did all the paperwork, the paperwork. Office, and she's asking questions and doing this and doing that. The anesthesiast lady come in, asked me questions, said what they was going to do, and, that the typical stuff they do, and what the procedure was going to be, and so on. And so I get in there, and they're talking to me, and they put the gas mask thing up on me, they just kind of touch it to your face a little bit. Well, and they'd give me a shot up here to numb my shoulder. I think they called it a block. To numb my shoulder. She said, "Your arm will twitch." I don't remember that, if it did or not. But anyway, this surgery was to take an hour and a half. And so I'm in the surgery, and I guess it's taking longer than it should have. My wife was getting nervous, and so she was talking with them, and they would, "No, everything's okay, okay." And when Doc gets in there to look at my arm, they make little punctures. I don't know if you call it laparoscopic or what, because they use little deals. It's the doctor's not doing it himself. It's things they stick in there that do it. And he runs it, but he gets in there, and I guess I had almost torn that thing clear off. They said it was just a thread holding on to it. So it was starting to recede or something, kind of like the nerve. The piece that was torn was going down or whatever. So I think they went ahead and snipped it off, because it was just a piece left. Snipped it off and then let that relax, so that would come back. And then I suppose they've got to take like those ends, because I would think by then, they've kind of lost the meat of them to where they're not raw, to where you could attach it to two pieces that would attach, good to good. So they did that, and it ended up taking them 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. And that's what was getting my wife so nervous, because it was going longer than it should. But it took them 2 hours, and then, of course, they had to put me in this sling thing. The one nurse says, "If you come out and just have a sling on, that will be good." She said, "If you come out and you got it goes around your waist and everything," she says, "going to be longer." See, because this was to be 6 months for recovery, like 90 days of being wearing a sling, getting into therapy and doing this and that, and then the sling would come off, and then I would just be careful. And I don't know if therapy goes after that also. I'm sure there's things I'm going to do, but I just had to be very careful because they made a comment in the 12-week area, people start feeling good, so they go out and they do things they shouldn't do, and because they're feeling good, and all of a sudden he says they've retorn it. She says you don't want to do that, and so yeah, don't want to do that. So she says, okay, being you've torn this completely off and we're starting all over, we're looking at 6 months to a year. And oh my. So now, yeah, there's going to be therapy in there, probably more therapy, and then just me, doing my thing and being careful. And but see, some of the problem with this, when I wasn't feeling that much pain, my wife says, I think you should be feeling more pain than you are. See, I was in a semi-accident 11 years ago almost, and broke my back. Well, I'm still on medications for that, some pretty good medications. I think those medications were hiding more pain that was there. So thus far, when I was doing things that I thought were okay, I wasn't feeling nothing because the medication was hiding that pain. And I think that's what got me into tearing it worse than it was, because I wasn't feeling nothing and got it to that stage. So I don't remember where I was at now, but anyway, yeah, 6 months to a year. And so now I gotta do that. I completely lost my train of thought. I do that now and then, but it's nothing unusual. But I'll just have to play it out and be careful with it, and hopefully I can do this. I'll be able to go out and do things. I just have to be careful with that shoulder, that arm. And they told me I would lose some mobility of it and not be able to lift up. And so far, because my doctor told me, she says, don't be lifting out your arm above your head. Well, I hadn't been. But if I did, just to see if I could do it, I mean, I could lift my hand straight up in the air. And so it was doing pretty good. And I've talked to some other people who've had it done, and they've did pretty decent. They've lost a little bit, but as long as a guy can still do the things we do, we still cut on trees, and I work on equipment, tractors and the lawnmower, pickup car, whatever, and we still do things. We don't just lay around. And so build decks, work on the house. There's always something to do. So as long as I'm careful, go ahead and get my exercise in I'm supposed to get in and do the things I'm supposed to do and plug along at it, Lord willing, God's in control of all this anyway. I mean, not to say anyway, He's got my back, I say, because I'm a believer. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. And so he's my top therapist. But I'll just play it by ear. My wife's my little nursemaid here at home and takes care of me. And we got the tree stump out though, but it got me too. So we'll go from there. So that's just what I was going to do. I just wanted to make a little video here to tell what was going on. And so now I'm in recovery for however long it takes to get this baby back like she's supposed to be. So thanks for watching. If you like it, subscribe. That's up to you. Like they say, it don't cost nothing. It's just a video that's out there playing, and any of the videos out there playing, you can punch on them and watch them. It don't cost you nothing. So like and subscribe and enjoy. And I've got other videos out there that might interest you, so just peek through them and see. And thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you later. Goodbye.